Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative Tea Time Mom, and this video is going to be a part of the Homeschool ABC Collab series. This week's letter is the letter U, U for update. So we're in our final week of school and it is hectic around here. In fact, this video was supposed to be about 3 hours ago and I'm just getting a chance to record it now. It's been a relaxed week, but yet it's been kind of a crazy week. Trying to get all my grading done, trying to get my logs done, making sure that we don't slack off because I have had a hard time being motivated the past several weeks, and now it seems as though last week and this week the kids have really caught it as well too, and they're struggling in their motivation. Even though we're really close to the end, we are all feeling that we're really close to the end. So we're in our final week. We only have a couple days left of school, so I thought this would be a great time to do an update for you guys. I wanted to talk about some of the curriculum we've used this year and the classes that the kids have taken at the charter and just our impressions and maybe some highlights from the year, a plan going forward, and just kind of where we're at in our homeschool journey. Noah is finishing 4th grade this year. I can't believe he's finishing 4th grade. I couldn't believe he was starting 4th grade, and I can't believe he's finishing 4th grade. Let's talk about curriculum. So the curriculum we used this year for him, we used Sadler Oxford for math, which is a Common Core based math. I'm not super into a lot of the strategies that Common Core math uses, but especially working at home, we were able to teach their strategy so that he can know it, but also maybe a more practical strategy that I am used to dealing with, and then I can lay out the options and he knows both ways to do it and can pick what works best for him. I really like that curriculum. It's the curriculum that we've used 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade year with him, and he's pretty strong in math. 4th grade math this year has been a struggle though, because one of the things I didn't like about the curriculum was that in the end, as they were teaching division, kind of the second half of the school year, it would be these crazy, insane numbers. And I remember doing long division in 4th grade, and so I know that it's a skill that you need to learn, but it would be things like 256,810 divided by 32. And I'm thinking, really, if anybody came across this problem in real life, what would we do? We'd just use a calculator. So it was one of those that I felt like the math was important, but when am I going to ever do that problem in real life? When is he ever going to do that problem in real life? So we did like Sadler Oxford. I just didn't like some of the examples that they gave. For language arts, we kind of pulled things together. We did rod and staff grammar, rod and staff reading, spectrum spelling, and he took a writing class at school. The rod and staff was very new to us. I love the grammar. I kind of skipped over a lot of the diagramming. We did the basic diagramming, but when it came to like predicates and predicate phrases and all that stuff, I didn't grade real heavy on it. But as far as the grammar goes and just talking about adverbs and adjectives, it's so in-depth that it gives the kids a really clear idea of what the purpose is of each of those words. And I feel like it makes my kids better writers. So I was very happy with the grammar. I have mixed feelings about his reading, and I will link my full rod and staff review down below, only because 4th grade the language was very old. So sometimes it was even hard for me to explain what was going on. But I like that it's Bible based and it's very thorough in reading comprehension. Really thorough, down to kind of being a little nitpicky sometimes. But spectrum spelling was great, loved it. We did some supplemental with, who's it called? Evan Moore, daily writing, but I didn't really focus a whole lot on that with him because he had a writing class. Now his writing class at the charter, I hated it. I think it was the teacher this year. She really was not good. She actually brought my son's writing scores down, so I pulled him out of the class, and he's been going to a writing tutor once a week, and that's been good. What else? History. We did Beautiful Feet, History of California. Loved it. We used the books for our read aloud in the evenings, and I felt like we got a lot out of it. There was a lot of things on Island of the Blue Dolphins. There's a lot of different supplemental curriculum you can find on the internet for free. I felt like History of California was a really good overview. It was a good one. What else did we do for history? That was about it. Science, we did some Rebecca and some Evan Moore. I was worried that the science was not going to be heavy enough on a couple of things, and so I ordered an Evan Moore energy book for 4th through 6th grade. I have mixed reviews on that one too. I love Evan Moore's K through 3rd. This was the first time we've done an older book, and some of the experiments just didn't work, and that frustrates me when that happens, because it's very frustrating to him. It's frustrating to me, and I'm like, we might as well have just read a textbook because the experiment didn't work. So Rebecca, actually, once I got into it, I think it would have been fine. It just wasn't, it was light on the energy stuff, but I think it would have been fine for 4th grade. In fact, I'm looking into possibly using that again next year for 5th grade. So I'm kind of excited about that. For Lydia, we used Sadler Oxford for math. She did great. She's more of a language girl than a math girl, but for 2nd grade it was fine. We're finishing the year out with just a dollar store multiplication book that I found, because I felt like it rushed through. It really does 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times at the end of the year. Oh, and 5. But it kind of rushes through them. So over the summer, I'm just going to have her work on her multiplication and give her a little bit of a head start for next year. She will be a young 3rd grader next year. So I'm not sure about using this curriculum next year, because at 3rd grade, it goes to more of a textbook system instead of a workbook. You have to transfer the questions, and I feel like being young 3rd grader, she might not have that skill yet. It was a struggle for Noah, even kind of being an average 3rd grader when he started, to either completely write it out on paper or compute it in your head and then write it down. Just the workbook system works so much better. But I think we're going to use Sadler Oxford again next year. Rod and Staff for language arts. Again, I did the same thing for her. She had Rod and Staff grammar and reading. She had daily writing from Evan Moore. She had spectrum spelling, and the second half of the year she's been going to a writing tutor as well. She's been doing great. The daily writing for Evan Moore is good, but it's not meaty enough to completely reach the writing standards, so it's a good start. But the writing tutor has definitely been needed. For some reason, that's my weak spot. Spectrum spelling's great. Rod and Staff grammar, fantastic. Love the grammar. And for 2nd grade reading, she really did well with it. She really grabbed onto the concepts. The language is easier to grasp in 2nd grade, and reviewing the 3rd grade, it looks like the 3rd grade is going to be easier too. So 3rd grade next year, we're going to continue on with that. When she gets to 4th grade, then we'll see, because then that's when we get into the older language, and I don't know. But for 2nd grade, or for 3rd grade, yes, we'll continue with that. History, she did Beautiful Feet. She did beginner early American history, and I heard somewhere it was a 2-year curriculum, but I've gone through the curriculum with my kids both times in a year. We did some supplemental stuff, especially when we got to Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. You can find tons of stuff online for them. And yeah, she really loved it. History seemed to be the highlight of her day. In fact, that's how she came up with a Pocahontas party for her birthday this year, because we had just finished reading Pocahontas in October, and that's what she wanted to have for her birthday. So I'm really happy for her that she's really grabbed onto history and loves it. She loves learning about people and places and events and that kind of thing. Science is also a love of hers. We did Evan Moore again, because I really feel like at the K through 3rd grade, it's a great curriculum, and surprisingly at the K through 3rd grade, the experiments do work. Obviously they're more simple, but we really liked it. I'm trying to think. This year we did space, we did animals with backbones, and we did energy. And we finished with energy. My favorite out of all those was probably animals with backbones, and we took several weeks as well in there to do some research, and I let her pick out an animal that she wanted to research, and we used one of those primary writing journals where it has the space to draw something and then write about it. So she kind of did like a really loose form research project on a kangaroo rat, which is funny. I'd never heard of them until she was researching one day, and that's what she wanted to do her paper on. So of course. As far as classes go at the charter, Noah I told you he took writing, which we didn't like. He also took a Lego class, which feeds into, it's kind of a progressive program. So he had a 3rd through 5th grade class, which is a lot about building and energy and motion and kind of the physics behind it. As it progresses, these kids can take classes up through high school. It kind of goes into the robotics. So it's a really good, logical thinking, engineering, motion, energy, fantastic class, and he really loved it. I really loved what he was getting out of it. I think it was definitely worth our time. Lydia took 2 classes this year as well. She continued with Spanish, which she loves. She had a new teacher this year. I was a little leery about the new teacher, but she ended up being wonderful and really good with the kids. I feel like Lydia's Spanish is definitely progressing. It's still very much so a 1st grader level, but she's doing well. And she also took knitting this year, which she learned to finger knit. She learned to knit on the loom, and she kind of learned to use the needles, but she was getting frustrated at the end because her stitches kept coming off. But it was definitely worth the experience. It was something she wanted to try, and I think she really enjoyed it. As far as next year goes for her, I'm thinking we're going to do rod and staff for language arts next year. History I'm up in the air on. I don't know what I'm going to do for history with her. I love Beautiful Feet so much. It's been hard to find something else that I want to do. I might try to do some unit studies with her next year instead. And science, we're going to do even more with her again next year, and she's going to take an enrichment science class next year because she really loves science. I can see this kid being a scientist someday. Highlights of the year. My kids definitely, of course, everybody loves to brag on their kids, so we had highlights of the year. One for me was seeing Lydia become more independent. She didn't have any classes with Noah. Last year she had 2 classes with Noah, and she didn't have any with him this year, so just seeing her branch out, making friends on her own and talking to other girls in her class, seeing her grow as a writer. This writing tutor has been really good for her, and so being able for her to express herself in writing, because she has a hard time expressing herself verbally, was really cool to see. For Noah, again, just getting to see him progress as a swimmer, because he takes swimming through the school. That was really good. I love to see my kids do stuff and grow and challenge themselves. And too, with this writing tutor, I feel like that's definitely been worth our time. He's always struggled with writing. So it was nice to see progress at the end of the year. I think that will always be a struggle for him, but he actually started to, with this particular personality combination, he started to enjoy it. And I want my kids to enjoy learning, so that was encouraging. I'm excited for next year. I'm totally excited for the summer, and so are they. So we're excited. I know, how many times can I say excited in 30 seconds, right? But it was a good year, all in all. It was a year that has not scared us off from doing this again next year. My kids are growing and learning, and Lydia in particular really loves being at home. I kind of gave them some options of some new ways to take classes next year, but they want to continue growing at home. So that's an update on our homeschool, and that is the letter U for this week. Give me an update down below. What are you struggling with? How are things going? What's working great for you? Are you taking the summer off? Are you going to homeschool year round? Talk to you later.